Welcome everyone to another episode of Kiwi Talkz. I have in the studio with me today a videographer who is quite well known, or getting well known in the Australasian esports scene. I'd like to welcome William Slingsby.
What up?
What up?
What up?
Thanks for coming through, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm keen.
First thing I want to know is how you got into videography in the first place. Did you study it, or was it something you just self-taught?
I feel like my answer to this is actually pretty unique. So to answer your question straight up, it's actually a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. So
okay.
I studied live sound and audio engineering at Mains. This is way back. This is actually like a decade ago, 2009.
Wow. Okay.
So I studied that, and then I moved into event management the year after in 2010. Went through that, and then kind of thought I wanted to do the live sound route.
Oh, yeah.
Worked maybe a year in that industry, and then quickly realized that being the first person into events and then the last person out at 2 a.m. is actually pretty shit.
Yeah,
in terms of like pack in, pack out. So that wasn't for me, and then I split, kind of just screwed around for a couple of years, and then I think in 2014 I studied creative technologies at AUT. So creative technologies is a very open, like experimental degree, or back when I did it, it's probably changed a lot now. It's probably found its way, but everything tech related falls under that. So app development, stuff with robotics, electronics. They essentially just give you an open floor plan as a studio and tell you to just go at it for 3 years, figure out what you want to do.
Wow.
And become a master at it, so to speak, right? So that gave me in my head essentially 3 years to figure out what I want to do. I knew prior I was a film guy. I like, watching movies, putting like little 1-minute montages for friends together from mobile footage, handycam footage, all that type of stuff.
Did they reach out to you, or did you reach out to them to do it?
Who?
The people that you did all these,
Oh, no, they were just mates.
Okay.
I was just like, do you want a little 1-minute video? I can screw around and put something together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
sweet.
why not? So started doing that, and then you just use the 3 years to focus in on figuring out how to use a camera, why it works, why you put, like, from start to finish, pre-production to post-production, right? Mm-hmm. Everything under all three umbrellas. So figured out how to use a camera, what different lenses do, what different focal lengths are, all that type of stuff, how to work with actors.
Did you do research when you were doing research on this? Was it online, or were you looking through books? It was just picking people's brains?
Everything under the sun. So
okay.
like, I feel like I'm a guy that if I really want to get into it, I'll get into it in a sense. Like, I won't put anyone that you look up to on a pedestal, because like people that you
do
look,
that.
Yeah, people that you look up to, technically at one point they were exactly like you when you're starting out.
Totally.
So I feel like if you view it like that, it's kind of endless on how much information you soak in, how you soak it in, who you're talking to, and where you're actually getting it from.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, the traditional YouTube stuff, picking people's brains that have been obviously in the industry for years, working their 9-to-5s as script writers, producers, all that type of stuff. Friends, borrowing friends' gear. It's endless, right? So graduated there, and what is it? Would have been like 14, 15, 16, in 2016, I think, and then kind of just went at it, just freelance.
Oh, yeah.
Just ran it straight, essentially.
And it was sweet from the get-go when you started freelancing? Had you built up a big enough clientele to be able to sustain that?
Partly. And that was using the 3 years at uni to obviously network.
Right.
And figure out
smart
kind of exactly where I'm going to fit in terms of the freelance stuff. A lot of it was like health and safety videos for, I think I did my first freelance gig was, I can't remember the name, but it was like a sheet steel place, just doing their health and safety. So talking to people that were just essentially like builders, constructors.
Did you know someone who knew someone?
Yeah. So I just got that through.
Yeah.
Someone was like, I've heard they need this. Can you hook them up? priced it all up.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada.
Because a lot of people won't know that you've done quite a number of different things, because you've done music videos, you've done film, you've done highlights of esports.
Yeah.
What am I missing? Other stuff. Advertising type things as well?
Just like stuff that may just be internal.
Yeah.
Like I've done stuff with Omen HP. So that's the gaming sector of Hewlett Packard.
Yeah.
Which just stays internally. Just like 1 minute kind of montage type things, just to promo their product or whatever it is. But yeah, no, very widespread over a lot of things. Music videos are pretty cool.
And the cool thing about all those different things is you're not applying the same techniques, I'd imagine, to the different areas, right?
No,
you're not going to
all.
approach filming for a music video as opposed to, say, an advert.
Yeah, no,
or
you're
an
not at all.
esports highlight.
Yeah.
What's actually the hardest?
It's probably, it's got to be film, just because film,
Like short film?
anything in the film kind of like structure, right? Because you can't really do anything in film as a one-man band. Like, you have
it's impossible.
your director of photography, then you have someone that's helping him, and then like a second unit can be a whole bunch of second and third unit, more cameras, more people helping them. So it's definitely that. Like I've only shot, during my 3 years at uni, I shot 2 short films with the intention to learn that entire process. And it was only me and one other person that wanted to be on the same wavelength as me.
I did something similar when I studied at SAE. You had to do a project where you had to film something.
Yeah.
And then you had to do the score to it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So we did do a bit of filming where we were allocated different roles.
Yeah.
I didn't actually do any of the filming though. I was one of the actors.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's
definitely big film. Yeah. It's the hardest.
Do you know how to do visual effects?
I do. I haven't done them in quite a while, just because
it's quite time consuming.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time. You're obviously scrubbing like one shot, one visual effects shot. I think, let's say a Marvel film. I'm pretty sure it's like a team of roughly like 7 to 8, and that's their shot.
Yeah, they just focus on that one shot for
so
a week to a month.
Yeah, that's kind of putting it into perspective. But I just think my strengths lie in like making sure what shot looks the best possible quality, and then piecing it together at the end. I mean, I can.
Do you find other visual effects online and incorporate them, or do you actually create it from scratch using Adobe After Effects or something?
Me personally, just chuck whatever shot you're compositing over, just put it into After Effects and kind of play around with it. It's kind of endless in a sense of like how much time you can put into it, because you can set it all up, make it look nice, and then you can light it a certain way.
And I suppose as being a creator, I would imagine, because I'm like this, you're a bit of a perfectionist.
Yeah, dude, it's to the point, and you're probably going to agree with this, that it's bad. Like,
you're never satisfied. I don't think I've ever done anything creatively where I've been satisfied, 100% satisfied with the product. I always see the flaws in it and everything. And I get to a point where I'm just like, well, I just have to release this, or I just have to make a decision that I have to do it by this date. You have to give yourself a deadline.
Oh, 100%.
If somebody else doesn't give you a deadline.
Yeah. I think that's, it's definitely that through and through. I think that's a lot worse with music, to be honest.
Bro.
Just because you guys are trucking into like, your audio software, laying down how many tracks of the same instrument to get X amount right, then you're repeating it with the guitars and then the bass. I'm just like,
because I used to produce and rap, so you're making the beat,
which I've tried to do that.
Yeah,
maybe I just don't have musical talent at all, but fuck, man, that looks like it's a mission.
So that's a mission in itself.
Yeah,
and then obviously if you're writing to it, and then recording it. And then if you're doing the mixing and stuff as well, it's a long process just for one song, right?
That it's definitely so. Like I'm I'd say I like almost every genre of music. Like maybe I exclude country from that, but you might be able to hook an odd country song my way and I might vibe to it. But I like, metal, hardcore music right through to old school hip hop and some of the newer stuff. Some of the newer stuff is a bit out there, but I just respect the process from start to finish with any musician that's kind of gone through it from, like you said, say if you drop an 8-track EP and I've got a good understanding of how much time that's gone into that. And track 1 could have been done almost a year and a half, 2 years prior to finishing the last track.
Yeah.
Right. And I find that crazy because me as a creative, I know how much you can change within just 6 months to a year.
Well, you're constantly evolving.
Yeah. So me personally with music, I'm just that's where I draw a lot of inspiration from in terms of how I work and what I want to get from each project.
Yeah. The creative field is also very, very hard, well, particularly in this country, to make money from.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely is.
Most creative people I know don't do it full time.
Yeah.
And if they do it full time, they're still making very little from it.
Yeah.
It's the top 1% usually that really makes a successful career out of it. It's hard grinding. And I don't think people who are creatives understand that. They don't understand how much time it takes, the process.
Yeah. I do think finding I think a lot of people in creative fields as well though kind of stunt themselves in a little bit. Maybe they're not fully dedicating enough of themselves to it. In a sense,
that could be a result of a number of things, though.
Yeah, that's true.
If they've got family commitments,
that's totally true.
or they have to pay the bills, so they're doing another job. So yeah,
I because for me, it's. I mean,
not that I'm making excuses for them, but
no,
I can understand why at least.
I think I say to a lot of people, if you end up finding that thing, not just creatively, whatever you want to do in life, and it's that motion of hours become minutes, minutes become seconds, seconds become milliseconds. So essentially saying if you're doing something like that and time's just gone out the window, hone in on that, make sure you do it right, just pour every spare hour you have outside your 9 to 5, and if you're going to bed at 3-4 a.m. having to wake up at 6-7, just keep doing it because you will actually see success to some degree. That's another big thing.
But then I think people also have to be realistic. Yeah. They have to have realistic expectations, right?
That's exactly where I was going to go. So you have to put it into perspective. You can have your large goals of for me being in film, winning the...
So what would be your main goal? So where would you like to be?
So my main goal, so we haven't even really talked about it in depth. So a lot of my work... Oh, okay. We'll jump right back. So my 9 to 5, I work for Renews, which is under TVNZ. It's kind of like an alternative news outlet, online news outlet. Mm-hmm. So obviously online being Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and a website. And all the content that I make during 9 to 5 gets pushed out through that. So my side hustle is esports and gaming stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of just want to reach the top of that. The top being there's these big North American and
leagues.
European teams that operate on millions, right? So they, in the creative sense, they have teams of graphic designers, motion graphics people, videographers that produce around their teams. So one of the big games in the world right now is League of Legends. So they have their leagues around the world. They have 8 franchise teams in each league, and I think it's 8 to 10. And then each team has a creative group that follows them from start to finish during a season.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then if they make Worlds, which is after I think a regular season is 10-ish weeks, then they go into playoffs, and then each region puts forward their 3 best teams. Then they go into a world format. Those creative teams follow them from start to finish. So that's the end goal for me. I've kind of got.
So do you know much of the New Zealand e-gaming people, the top tier? The top tier
So
guys?
pretty much anyone in Australia and New Zealand.
You know all of them.
Yeah.
You're kind of up with it.
So the teams I produce for in a local sense are two of the higher tier teams, one being solely based in fighting games, all fighting games, like Smash, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, like all the fighting games, Tekken. And then the other one's kind of, in a traditional sense, spread over all the top games. Because fighting games aren't considered a top esport anywhere around the world, even though they sell out.
Really?
Yeah, even though they sell out the Mandalay Bay in Vegas every year for
Well, they have
Evo.
a cult-like fan base then, or a dedicated fan base, because
They do,
if I remember correctly, they were the first kind of esports to really get competitive.
Yeah, I
they?
mean, if you want to like fizzle it down right to the roots, yeah, fighting games, it's just...
I remember Street Fighter 2 tournaments back in the day.
Yeah, and that's like pure competition, right? One-on-one. Just go at it until you ever win it. So yeah, you can say that. It's I think the fighting game community globally, they're not like esports, like, you know, commercializing it, coming in with the salaries for players, all that type of stuff. It's definitely there. They've come a long way since like a decade ago. But
yeah, and also fighting games don't sell as well as say Fortnite,
yeah,
Call of Duty,
all that type of stuff.
FIFA. Yeah.
So the scene is kind of like they've kind of embraced esports, but they're very resistant to it. Of like, you know, big entities coming in, kind of commercializing it, watering it down.
Who?
Just anyone that like, whether
big-
it's an esports team that can come in and just wants to run it like a
Business.
you know, like a business, a traditional sports team, yada yada yada.
Do you think it needs to be run like a business though?
Fighting games, I don't know. It's kind of really up to them if they want to embrace it. And get bigger.
You'd want to maybe obviously try and commercialize it so people are getting paid or paid well, but you wouldn't want to lose, you know, the community aspect of it.
Yeah, which
and the feel good nature of it as well.
Definitely.
If it becomes all about money, that's when, you know.
Yeah, it
shit
starts
hits
to
the
take a
fan.
decline. And I think that's kind of why they've shied away a little bit, is because end of the day, anywhere you go in the world, the fighting game community just wants to plot down somewhere and they just want to play. They really do not give a shit.
So do you play fighting games?
I did. Obviously now kind of can't really chuck too much hours into any sort of game, but
I know that feeling.
The last time I played, the last game I played with sunk a lot of hours into was Street Fighter 4. So that's
I haven't played 5. I know a couple of people that have played it and they don't like it. I think
it's
because
just
the mechanics have changed a lot.
It's just different game.
Yeah.
With that, like, you know, the people that don't like it cycle out. They go off and play other games, Mortal Kombat or whatever else is new. And then
I used to play Street Fighter 4 on my friend's PlayStation, but I never actually played it online. But I used to. This is when ignorance is bliss. But when you're owning everyone in your inner circle, and then you go and enter, because I kept getting told, dude, you should enter a Street Fighter tournament. So I entered one, but then the day before the competition, there was like a open night, where anyone could come play. So I thought, I'll just go along and see what it's like, because I've never been to one of these things. And dude, I got completely owned, man. I versed this guy 3 times, I think, and all 3 times I didn't even touch him, not once. And then I saw these dudes bringing out these video cameras and stuff, and I go, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" We're going to set up a YouTube live event and video the whole thing. And I'm like, hell with that shit, man. I'm not getting embarrassed and humiliated live on video.
Rough.
Yeah, man, because I was totally unprepared, way out of my depth, because these guys are just freaks, man, in terms of how good they are. I mean, I don't know how many hours they put in. It comes down to like a fraction of a second in terms of, or milliseconds in terms of each move. Like the like the mathematics of
certain frames.
Frames.
Frame data and all that type of stuff. It's pretty wild. But I think a lot of those people, the newer players, kind of might fail to realize is like they've been playing since 5, 6, right? So like in each game, let's say Street Fighter, each iteration, you know, the way to do a Dragon Punch, the input's the same across the board, right?
Mm.
So it's kind of once you learn the fundamentals and then you dive into stuff like frame data and then the matchups like X character versus X character.
Yeah.
That just comes with putting time and
there's an art to it.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's very rare that I guess you'd get like someone just out of the blue in their first year that comes through and smokes totally everyone.
Well, if they do, they've been undercover for years. I'd
Oh
imagine.
yeah. But yeah, no, it's pretty intense with the fighting games. The local fighting game community, though, is very chill.
I mean, I haven't played Street Fighter in a long time. I do play Smash now and then online, but that's probably the only game I play these days because I just don't have the time to play anything else.
Yeah.
And every time I think I'm getting good, then I'll get smoked online, and I'm like,
it's pretty wild. You just have to go into those tournaments and just know you're going to go 0-2 in a bracket, but then spend 4 or 5 hours after just drilling it, just playing everyone across the board, getting in games, getting in sets.
I wonder if some of those dudes get arthritis or something just from the...
Oh, I mean, not the latest Smash Brothers, but the Smash Bros. Melee, which is like...
Oh, yeah, that's
it's like 15 years old, 16 years old or something like that. Just because the controller for the GameCube is shaped real weird. It's kind of like a boomerang, and then the thumbsticks are kind of angled in.
Yeah.
I know a lot of those guys in the US, some pros have had to dip a couple years early into their careers because, their wrists.
Like permanently or?
Yeah. Like, there's been a few. It's just like, just because of the way the controller is and how fast the movement's in that particular game.
Well, I imagine Nintendo didn't probably...
Oh, they didn't
expect for the controller to be used for that.
Yeah, that's the
fast-paced gameplay.
Smash Bros. Was made as a party game.
Yeah, that's
like,
what it is. And it became a competitive game.
Yeah, it's pretty
over
wild.
time. Yeah. I was actually reading a month ago or something that the latest one is now the best-selling game in best-selling fighting game of all time. Smash Ultimate. It's outsold like all the iterations of Street Fighter 2 combined.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Taking the number one spot. Yeah, which is mental. But every Smash Brothers Ultimate tournament you see in the world, it's from the last game to now, it's just doubled, tripled in numbers. So like, I know the Aussie boys, they've been running tournaments for years. They've gotten to a point where I think it has to be like a 9-9 type of ordeal running the bracket. Running a tournament Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, like just because there's so many people
entering.
Yeah.
But I would imagine there's not a lot of crossover between Smash and other fighting games.
No, so...
Because the Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, there's a bit of crossover because the inputs might be similar.
Yeah.
And the actual game itself might have similarities, where Smash is just its own beast.
Yeah, like...
You can't apply like Street Fighter mechanics and then go into... Smash, unless you're playing with like Ryu or Ken or something, then you might be okay, but otherwise you're just going to get owned.
Yeah, so it kind of depends who you talk to in the fighting game community, but it's kind of like FGC and then the Smash community. They kind of run side by side. It's not, I mean, it's a fighting game, like you're one-on-one and you're fighting.
Well, there's a bit of a debate around it, isn't there? It's like, it's not a fighting game, it is a fighting game. And then some people in the FGC hate on Smash players and Smash players hate on the FGC. I've seen on Reddit and stuff.
Oh, yeah, Reddit's probably going to have some shit to say.
It gets brutal, man.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
I know here, and I got to give them shout-outs, is Standing Fierce is our local fighting game community.
Yeah.
So if you just punch Standing Fierce into any kind of social pop-up, they're making sure they include Smash in every kind of event they do. It's run in on itself, so like, the Smash TO, you got this, you got that, you're ready to go.
Is Smash that big here though? Because Nintendo doesn't really have a large presence in New Zealand. New Zealand is very Sony. It's a Sony country.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of, the consumer base.
Yeah. No, it's actually pretty damn big, I think.
Because I don't know many people with Nintendo consoles. And if they do own Nintendo consoles, it's usually handhelds as opposed to, the Switch is a different beast. But previously it was usually handhelds as opposed to home consoles. And it was mainly for Pokemon.
Yeah. I mean, the Smash scene here is pretty damn big. I want to say for the past couple of big events in New Zealand, Smash has been at the top in terms of entrance, I'm pretty sure.
That's interesting. Is that just due to Ultimate, I guess?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. All the other titles in the past, they might get like 10 entrants. But
really?
Yeah.
Even Melee?
Yeah, it's taken a bit of a dive. It's kind of everyone kind of entering Melee almost. It's really only a thing because they're playing Ultimate. And they're like, oh, Melee's here, I'll just jump in. Type of ordeal. But it's pretty big. I want to say like the big event they hold annually, which is in Wellington, called Biggie.
Biggie. Is that a play on Notorious B.I.G.?
Nah. I think you'd be hard to find someone in the Smash scene that might know old school hip hop. But no, I think it was originally called Biggie Breezy. I think that's a play on like, based in Wellington, windy, yada yada yada. I think, I don't know.
Okay.
And
interesting.
I think that got 100 and man, they're gonna hate me if I misquote this, but it was huge. Like the room was packed. It was an all-day affair. I think they even ran late, but like it would have been like 150.
150 people?
Yeah.
Entering Smash?
I think into the bracket, yeah. But there's people that just rock up and play. So it was at a uni hall, Vic Uni, and the place was packed from like...
So you filmed it? You filmed there and stuff?
Yeah. So what I do is I generally come through all the fighting game events on a local basis and just record, chuck a kind of...
You must film like a crap ton of material, and then you have to condense that down to a couple minutes.
Yeah, so it also depends on kind of like, obviously, how much I record, and if there's like a lot of good footage, I'll split it off into kind of like a Saturday visual and then a Sunday visual.
Oh, right.
So a visual being a montage.
Okay. When you do these montages, how do you decide what music to put?
I kind of just put anything that's opposite of what is being used. So
you wouldn't use any video game music with montage?
Hell no. That shit just makes me cringe, right? That, and then the other thing in esports is like, for quite a few years was this dubstep thing, just like real, just
oh yeah, dude.
Just,
I'm not a huge fan of dubstep. Well, I can listen to some of it, but then after I've listened to like 2 or 3 songs, I felt like I've listened to the same song. Yeah, because it's just
years worth of releases, right?
Wow.
So I just use, chill hop, chill step, kind of like just lower tempo stuff. Because I generally, because I shoot so much, I kind of like.
How long does it take you to sift through all the stuff? Days, weeks?
Maybe 1 or hours, probably 7 to 8, maybe.
Okay.
Just because I've shot it, I know.
Do you use Premiere or do you use Final Cut? What do you use?
Premiere. So I've kind of just got my own method.
It's whatever works.
When I'm shooting something and I know it was a good shot, I'll tap on the mic on my camera. So the audio, the waveform will spike somewhere. So I know that's a really good shot. So I'll just be scrubbing through. And then if it's a really good shot, it's going to have that spike. So I just pinch that out and then put that elsewhere and then just comb through it like that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I should speak to some other editors to see if they do.
Yeah, if it's something similar. I mean, I know like they use the whole hand clap before you film something.
Yeah.
So you know where the audio starts.
Yeah, synced in.
And if you're lining up audio.
Yeah.
Although I just use Pluralize.
Yeah. That's so good.
Oh, yeah, I love that program.
Especially editing like multi-track music videos.
Yeah. Well, dude, when I first started this podcast, right, I was trying to line up the audio and the video.
Manually.
Yeah. And it was drifting out of sync. And I was like, what the hell? Why is this? And I couldn't, honestly, dude, I spent like 7 hours trying to figure it out. And then I stumbled across Pluralize, and I was just like, my gosh,
just hit
the lifesaver. Yeah, and it just does everything for you, and
yeah.
it saves so much time, man.
Yeah,
so much time.
Yeah.
Ah, true. So you go to Australia much for these esports events?
Yeah. So
do they pay for you, or do you have to?
Yep. So I'm I'm employed by a team called Darksided. They're an Australian-based organisation.
Darksided.
Yeah.
And what do they do?
So they've actually just moved. They were across every game possible, Counter-Strike, all the fighting games. I think they were in League of Legends at one point, what you'd expect from a traditional esports team.
Yeah.
But they've slowly stripped it back to just fighting games. So they have people in Tekken, Smash, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat 11, and Dragon Ball Fighters. So they're across the board in terms of Tekken, and they're only in terms of fighting games, and they're only fighting games. They're the only all fighting game team in our region, and they're the number ones at all their respective titles. So they've got, for instance, their Smash Melee player. His name's Spud. He's actually a New Zealander. He lives in Perth. I think he's ranked
yes,
30th.
I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Someone told me to get him on here, and then I looked into him, and I'm like, he lives in Perth. How am I going to get him on here?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think he was ranked. I think he just got re-ranked in the global rankings, and I think he's in that 33rd.
Have you met him?
Yeah. I've shot content around him. I've shot a little profile video around him.
Okay.
Super chill dude. And then it kind of trickles. Trickles down.
I would imagine most esports players probably.
Yeah. A lot of the Smash guys are kind of.
They're either chill or they're socially awkward. That's what I find.
Yep. The thing with fighting games, though, and I think it comes from, they're having to actually sit next to your opponent. Like some of these guys it's like a much older crowd. So with the Street Fighter players, they're like more towards 30.
Yeah, you're not going to probably find 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds that are interested in Street Fighter. To be the 30 to 40s, I'd imagine. Unless it's, at least Street Fighter 2, the original Street Fighter 2.
Yeah. That's a much older crowd, so you have to... They're just normal. You interact with them on a normal level. On a social level.
Because they haven't been conditioned.
Yeah. They're not all online and
this is part of the problem with social media and online gaming and all that. I think this is part of the reason why I refuse to do any Skype interviews or phone interviews or anything like that. I want the person being face to face with me, because I feel that art is being lost. Just the ability to have a conversation, because people are so online. They don't know how to communicate with someone face to face.
Yeah.
It's real interesting, because I meet some people and I'm like, dude, what?
Oh, yeah. I've definitely met some characters over the time.
Yeah. And it's just weird.
It is. It's like with the Street Fighter guys, like they have that respect of like I said, being face to face, but it comes from being in the arcades. Yeah. Like
I met David Dallas at a Street Fighter competition. I was there to support a friend.
Oh yeah,
because I think he's hardcore into that. Actually,
no, he is. I can't. I think it might have been on another podcast or something like that. They're just going back and forth about. I think he's into like Super Turbo.
Oh, true.
I think. But I know he watches Evo, which is like the World Championships every year, and he gets really into it. I also think he's into like Hearthstone, which is like that competitive card game.
That's buzzy, man.
Yeah.
So secretly he's a bit of a nerd, but it's okay.
Yeah. It's
nerds run the world,
multiple
man.
planes.
Nerds run the world, man. Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of the Street Fighter guys and that team, Darksided specifically, they're just normal chill dudes. Used to run it back in the arcade.
So do you notice with the different, depending on the fighting game, that you
it's
see,
different,
the crowd is different, the personalities, the community. Yeah. So what would be the main difference between, say, a Street Fighter crowd and, say, a Tekken crowd? Or would they be similar?
Nah, they're pretty similar. I think it would be, if you were to lump it into
like Call of Duty
groups,
or Fortnite or something, would it be?
Okay, Fortnite is obviously, I think the average age at that World Championship this year.
Well, didn't the kid who won it, like he was like 12 or something, wasn't he?
I think he was 16, but the average age there, I want to say, was 15. The oldest guy there was 24, which is, to me, knowing this shit through and through, is crazy. But you jump back into Street Fighter, comparing like Street Fighter, Tekken, and say Mortal Kombat, the big contrast would be the Smash crowd. The Smash crowd is very young, like Smash Ultimate. A lot younger.
Yeah, well, I imagine. Yeah, I suppose because of with it being exclusive as well, right? So like it depends because you know how with Tekken and Street Fighter, Fortnite, Call of Duty, or whatever, they're all third-party games, right? So they're released on multiple systems.
Oh, right, yeah.
So the age bracket, the consumer base is a lot broader, right?
Yeah.
And typically Nintendo is usually catered to a very specific audience.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
so
if you just look at all Nintendo titles, right? It's what is it? Mario, Zelda,
Metroid,
they're all
Fire Emblem, Pokemon.
Yeah, they're all kind of. I'm not gonna. Probably gonna get grilled saying it. They're kind of more that like anime, cartoonish type of realm.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
Oh, there totally isn't. But
nothing wrong with it.
I mean, from the sense like there's some people out there that are like,
well, I think some people associate. Blah, 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 some people associate anime kid.
Yeah,
anime. Oh, you're a kid. Yeah. You're a child. But yo, man, I mean, you know Israel Adesanya, the MMA champion. Yeah, he's like hardcore into like Naruto and Last Airbender and Dragon Ball Z and stuff.
I'm not totally into anime, but wasn't his walkout Naruto based on Naruto action?
Yeah,
dude, that fucking walkout.
Yeah,
I straight away when I saw that shit, I just put it out on Twitter. I was like, if you aren't fucking hyped just based on that walkout, I don't know what is going to get you hyped.
Dude, yeah. So, like, some people are hating on him. They're just like, oh, arrogant prick, But I thought it was amazing, dude, because no one had really done that. And, he's got charisma. He knows how to sell events. He knows how he could be an actor or something if he was MMA.
That's not being cocky, man. That guy. So, the first I heard of him was on... So, it's a podcast that's not around, but I was listening to him on that podcast, and like just even way back then before he had even a UFC contract, he was just saying like, I'm going to do this by this time, I'll be in the UFC by this time, blah blah blah. It's just goals, man. He's just got goals he needs to tick off. And if you're confident,
he's got a really good team though.
Definitely.
He's got a really good team, and I think Eugene, his coach, had a lot to do with that. Helped him map out. But he was fully prepared by the time he got into UFC. Carlos Sexel I just had on here.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Yeah.
I've got like mad respect for anyone in fighting, man, because it's one of those things. Like,
it's like, how would that? There's no way I'd do it.
Yeah, I was the classic example of like light sparring in a gym after a boxing class. It only took one punch to the nose. I was like, fuck. This is very real, and it was just light sparring, and I was like, maybe I don't want to get my face smashed up for this. Yeah, well,
there's such a psychological aspect to it as well, right?
Dude, and you have to be like, how can you say, he's cocky, this, and that? If you're not confident fighting, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
you don't want to get into a ring and like fight someone and you're dropping your nuts.
Exactly.
You have to go in with that mindset, like, okay, I'm going to kill you or I'm going to beat the shit out of you. 100%. I'm going to win this.
Yeah.
I'm going to win this.
While we're talking about that real quick, I do feel New Zealand as a country needs to embrace him as a champion a lot more.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was quite surprised. I was quite surprised by how little media coverage.
I know.
I've tried to get him on here.
Dude, that'd be sick.
But I wasn't able to do it, but that's all right. But man, like we seem to be obsessed with the All Blacks. It's all about the All Blacks. I'm like, yo, dude, like you don't understand what he's achieved.
Yeah,
and it opens the doors for so many other people here. Like, 100%. We've got that UFC event that's happening in February now.
Oh, is it finalized? Is that finalized?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's finalized. I think Dan Hooker's headlining it, I think.
Whoa, yo.
Yeah. So I'm probably going to go.
Yeah. I went to the first one.
Let me know if you go.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think Izzy put out a tweet after the All Blacks lost their semi-final.
Oh, yeah. And, I saw it and he had the picture and he said,
and he's like, I think it was along the lines
you've got to still All Blacks, you've still got a number
All Black champion or something.
Yeah,
and I was like, fuck yes, man. It's so good, man. Like, and to hook it all back, like I said, I've got mad respect for any MMA fighter, but people doing that sort of stuff, like, how can you not just see that play out before your eyes and just want to go out and work harder, whatever you're doing, right? I don't know. That's how I view it.
Well, yeah, we've got this tall poppy syndrome here too, where people just haters, they just hate.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Particularly if their life sucks.
Yeah,
they're going to be like,
plain and simple, I just
fuck the world.
Yeah, don't.
Everyone's against me.
Too much energy.
I mean, I know a lot of dudes that just blame all their problems on the government. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, the government do play our part, but you have to take some responsibility. You have to acknowledge your own faults.
Yeah,
which is actually quite hard to do because everyone has an ego, everyone has their pride.
Yeah. Question to you: how do you take feedback? How do you personally take feedback?
It depends on what the feedback is. So if it's constructive, cool.
Yeah.
If it's just hate, I'm like, whatever. Like if someone's like, "Oh, yo, the host is whack," which I read. I read the YouTube comments. I know what's going on. I read them.
Yeah.
I may not respond, but I do read them. But I saw one comment and it's just like, "Oh, yo, the host is whack." And
It's
just
not feedback.
and I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, "Well, what are you doing?
Yeah, that and like,
Are you doing anything like this? Probably not."
Yeah, exactly.
But where someone, I had after my very, very first episode, I had someone within my inner circle who actually used to work for TVNZ actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he gave me a few pointers and tips and stuff because this is one of those things where this is one of those things where you learn as you go.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And then the very first episode, I look back on and watching yourself on camera. What the hell, man? So like hearing your own voice and your mannerisms and what you say, I looked back on that and I was like, okay, I need to work on this. But I think as being a creative person anyway, I've always been like that. Even when I was doing hip hop. I always look back on I always look back on what I do and be like, okay, how can I improve this? Because you're never too old to learn. I would never get to the point where I'm just like, oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
You can always improve on everything that you do. So
yeah. No, the reason I ask is because it did take a couple of years for me to get to that point. Not gonna lie.
To be able to accept criticism?
And like take it and figure out, what's good criticism, what's bad. Like you said, if someone's just like, it's shit, it's like, that's not criticism. Why is it shit?
There are certain days, like if I'm just having one of those days, I might be a little bit more sensitive to criticism. People don't see what's behind the scenes,
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes, I might feel shit and, my missus has to give me that, encouragement boost.
Yeah,
I'm just having one of those days, which we all have, where, sometimes I doubt myself.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be dumb to say you don't sometimes.
So there's a rapper on who came on my show, Unchained XL, right?
Yep. He's fun side bit. I actually sat down with him yesterday.
Really?
With him. So, that'll be my work piece in a couple of weeks.
Oh, cool. He's a nice guy, man.
Oh, dude, he knows his shit as well.
Yeah, he's a really nice dude. But anyway, like I thought when I got him on here, I thought that the podcast I did with him, I thought it was going to do way better than it did.
Yeah.
I did the wrong thing. I had the wrong expectation.
Right.
And then it didn't. And then like, I think for, a day I was doubting myself. I was like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I did something wrong. And I was like doubting myself just based on that. And looking back on it now, I'm like, why? Like what?
Yeah, there's...
Sometimes you're just in a frame of mind and you don't realize, I don't know, how brittle you are. And
Yeah.
And just,
no, you definitely have your ups and downs.
Yeah.
And like your off days.
Definitely. But like to be in this type of industry, anything that involves you being in front of a camera or out there to the public, you have to develop, thick skin to a degree.
Oh,
I mean, there's
100%.
there's a spectrum.
Yeah. I've definitely done that with being based in
But your stuff is good,
stuff.
man. Like,
oh, cheers.
Yeah. when I saw your website and I saw the links and stuff, I was like, yo, this is good stuff.
Pretty much what you're saying is like thick skin in esports because that crowd, man, they weed out the bullshit if something's
I think
shit.
like gaming fan bases.
Yeah, pretty.
Some of those harsh.
Right?
I mean, particularly for women, man. I mean,
yeah, which is a whole.
That's a whole different a ball game. Yeah, but there are certain fan bases that are just real.
Yeah,
like real. I don't want to use the word evil, but they're just quite angry and they just don't hold anything back. They have like no filter.
Yeah.
Star Wars fans. They are the worst.
Yeah,
bro.
they're pretty damn bad. I'd almost say that's just anything in like pop culture. Very, very vocal. Just
very vocal about everything.
Yeah. And if we're running with that Star Wars example, can you imagine like being any director that has to spearhead one of the newer Star Wars films? Like,
they're getting the same. They're getting the same shit.
Yeah, you're instantly going to have the older heads not like it. Just because it's it's just that weird kind of
because after the prequels came out, George Lucas got so much hate. Entire fan, it felt like the entire fan base turned on him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, listen, man, you wouldn't even have Star Wars if it weren't for him. Yes, you
Yeah,
don't
exactly,
agree with it.
exactly.
And I think people are starting to realize now with these newer films that they're like, oh, okay.
Oh,
You
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because,
It's actually not bad,
I mean, dude, I'm not a fan of the newer films, dude. I think I only like Rogue One.
Rogue One's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Rogue One.
But I thought The Force Awakens was just a carbon copy of A New Hope, pretty much.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Yeah,
To a
and
T.
then The
Yeah.
Last Jedi, I don't know. I didn't like what they did with Luke, and I thought it was just weird. I mean, I'll still watch the new one, The Rise of
Skywalker?
Yeah. But I just like, at least with the prequels, George Lucas, he built like a world. It was different, at least.
Yeah.
These films, they're just too similar to the originals.
Yeah. And it's kind of like trying to cater to both crowds, right? I'm with you on that. Like, I feel if anyone's going to jump into a franchise, just change it, flip it up. To a certain degree, obviously not. Just
I mean,
go wild,
there's a fine line. You have to stay loyal to what represents the franchise and what it is.
Yeah. But I guess
But don't
experiment with stuff.
Yeah,
and change it
experiment
up.
and do something different. This is part of the reason why Marvel is so successful with the cinematic universe. They keep switching it up, right?
Yeah.
They don't stick to the same formula. You know, there might be multiple genres within a superhero film. So one might be a thriller, one might be, you know, a western, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's why they're successful. Star Wars has just become complacent and just very rigid.
Yeah. I mean, Marvel's had a good amount of shitters, but the shitters aren't movies.
Yeah, but
They've had poorer movies, though.
Do you know what happened behind the scenes though with the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
What?
So you know Kevin Feige, he's
Yeah,
like the genius behind all of it, right?
Yeah.
Apparently in the beginning he didn't actually have the power that he did. He actually reported to someone else. I forgot his name, like Ike Perlmutter, I think his name was.
Okay.
Anyway, he was a merchandise guy.
Yeah.
So he was all about selling merchandise. So he wouldn't let Kevin Feige make Black Panther, wouldn't let him, because black African American heroes don't sell toys.
Right, yeah.
They
so
don't
that sort
sell.
of shit, okay.
Captain Marvel doesn't sell toys.
Yeah.
And then apparently it all came, and he had a lot of power over the creative decisions.
Yeah.
In the early, I think up until Phase 3, I think it was, and that it came to a head during Civil War, Captain America's Civil War.
Yeah.
Where I think Robert Downey Jr. wanted $50 million or something for his role.
Yeah.
And then this Ike guy was like, no, just cut him out of the film. And then Kevin Feige was like, well, he went to Bob Iger, I think, and said, if, you know, you get rid of him or I'm walking. And so because if you look at all the recent movies, the quality has gone up dramatically for the most part. Yeah. And that's because Kevin Feige is more creative control. I think he only reports to one person, which I think is Bob Iger. I think his name Bob Iger. Let's see, but he's stepping down or something, I think. So
he's onto it, eh?
Yeah.
Like,
well, Disney are onto. I mean, I heard that Disney Plus did like 10 million subscribers in its first day.
In
the States? Yeah.
Yeah.
It launches this week. I'll probably get it at some point.
I actually signed up for it on the day it dropped. What, two nights ago or something like that?
I can't remember when it was. Yeah. Like, I'll watch The Mandalorian at some point, but I'll probably just wait a little longer until there's more stuff that I actually want to watch.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
To be honest, I don't get much time to watch much television anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's pretty crazy. Real quick on the streaming services tip. Man, like, I've got Netflix, I got that, and then I got HBO. I never thought New Zealand would get to that point where we've got like accounts across multiple streaming services stacking up.
But most of those accounts are not New Zealand-based entities, right? They're all...
Oh, yeah.
Like Netflix is based in America.
I just kind of see
Disney's
it weird going that all streaming route, all digital.
Well, television's going to die, man. I mean, online is the future.
Yeah.
It's actually interesting to me, like doing these podcasts, like it's very interesting because people ask me why I do video. I'm like, part of the reason I do video is because that's where media's going. That seems to be the evolution. And also, like, if I'm trying to pitch to someone to come on here, it's very hard to do that with just audio.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's no visual image. They can't see what I'm trying to show them. They have to listen to it.
Yeah,
which is hard. So, like, if I send an email to somebody saying, hey, can you get you on, and then I'll usually
chuck a few links.
a video, attach a video,
right.
a YouTube link or whatever, just so they can see the format. Because within 10 seconds, bang, you kind of know the format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just talking about that, it just got me thinking, like, I have my podcast app on my phone, but I'll generally just pull up, if it's hosted on YouTube, pull that up, then just chuck it in my pocket, listen to audio, and then go between the two. Just because I'll be like...
Oh, you might
like,
now and then
like,
check the video. Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of weird, but...
I think a lot of people do that. I mean, I know one of my flatmates, he'll be cooking dinner and he'll have it.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And he'll be listening to the podcast and now and then he'll look over
and
and
just flick over.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like, everyone's on that live streaming buzz as well.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
like live streaming them doing nothing, but it's very weird because
that doesn't really...
on that tip.
I mean, I could do that with this, but I prefer to do it the way I'm doing it because I know I can creatively control everything more. And let's say, for example, I mean, because I've had politicians on here, right?
Yeah.
If for whatever reason I discuss something and they are not happy with it,
yeah, true.
Then I can edit it out if they want me to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Because, some people are very, very cautious about doing any type of live video in case they do something.
Oh, yeah, especially like anyone like that, like a politician or like a high up in a company.
Yeah, CEO or anything like that. Like, it would be very difficult. Like, I've had, obviously, CEOs on here and politicians on here. And, I would imagine they'd be more resistant to coming on here if it was live.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Were those...
Because if I bombard them with a question that they don't like...
Yeah, they get flustered and they're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Were the CEOs you've had on here afterwards, were they kind of like just giving you the 20 questions, like, where's it going? How's it going to... Were they freaked? Because I've dealt with a few in terms of videos and I've just been drilled with the questions.
I think the big one, this is exclusive. Nobody knows about this yet. But the chief executive of Tainui Group Holdings.
Oh, yeah,
I've
just been working for quite a while.
Yeah. Well, some of these CEOs take ages to get on. But anyway, he's coming on next year.
Sick.
I had to book him like 4 months in advance or something. But he's like I'll have to give him a list of questions beforehand.
And he'll just scrub through them and...
Yeah. Well, I mean, and if he has a problem with it. But I think the main thing for me is trying to be respectful to the guest. I don't want to be grilling people. I get politicians on there like, why don't you grill them? I'm like, well, when you first meet someone...
Oh, yeah, you
don't
just
grill them.
Yeah,
it's like having an initial conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe if I had the rapport with them and I'd known them for a long time, then maybe.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be the same if I had Jacinda and Simon on here.
Oh, yeah. You're not just
as
much as you want to.
Yeah. And then also, if I grill one and I don't grill the other, or I don't grill one on one particular issue and not on the other, then I'm accused of being biased, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I just had, there's a Labour MP who's based in Hamilton, Jamie Strange. I had him on recently. He's a Labour MP.
Yeah.
And, because I've had him on, I now know I have to get a national MP on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people are going to be like, what? He's biased towards Labour. I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit. But I have no loyalty to any tribe or any political tribe. But some people do.
And it's going to be, you got to think about that more so coming into 2020, right? With the election coming up and all that.
Yeah, well, I will try and get Jacinda and Simon on here, whether I'm successful or not.
That'd be good, man.
Well, I think, one of the biggest problems politicians have is they don't get the platform to really say what they need to say. They get sound bites, Condensed.
Oh, yeah, where it's clearly like they're about to say something else and then the news just
it. Because, whatever. I mean, TVNZ, MediaWorks, whatever. They have to
fit a mold and tell
and make a narrative. They've got to they've got to make money.
Yeah.
It's got to be viable for them. So I get it. But, it must be frustrating. I mean, I know with the local politicians, they get frustrated because they can't go into the details, the complex nature of what they're talking about because they're given 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I might say this and that about XYZ and political party here and there, I wouldn't want to do their job. Screw that.
Oh, hell no, man.
Fuck
hell
that. No. Surely, wait, have you made tracks like towards getting them on? Because I know Jacinda's been on podcasts
not
in the past.
Yet. Believe it or not, I do have.
She wasn't PM though back then.
No, I mean I do have a strategy to getting these guys on. Right, I map out everything in terms of the strategy of getting someone on.
Yeah.
and sometimes it's a slow
Oh yeah, I can
slow
imagine, right?
burn.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
you know what I mean? You don't just aim for the top.
Yeah,
You go through the people to
Yeah,
get to the top, right?
yeah, 100%.
Doing local politicians, then you move on to central
yeah.
government politicians, and then you
Then get the big dogs.
yeah. I mean, it's plausible. Jacinda's down in the Waikato quite a bit. She's from here, you know.
Yeah,
So it is plausible. I mean, Simon Bridges lives in Tauranga, so it is plausible.
yeah.
But the funny thing is, if one came on, like let's say if I emailed both of them at the same time,
yeah.
and then one agreed and the other didn't,
Oh yeah.
then immediately the
take it?
person who agreed has an advantage over the other, and it might
Yeah.
cause the other to backtrack on what they say and then be like, I will come on, you know. So
All right, I'm going to be waiting out.
yeah. But
It's gonna be good.
we'll see. It'll be interesting 2020. I mean, who knows? They might just be like, nah, we're not interested. But it depends. Yeah. Chloe Swarbrick was meant to come on here.
Oh, well, what? Busy schedules?
No, so she actually we booked it down to
She's awesome, by the way. I reckon she is.
I chatted to her on the phone
Yeah.
briefly, but yeah, so she was supposed to come on. This was back in I think in August, right?
Yeah.
Her PA gave her the wrong address. So she turns up at the wrong address and then she's calling me and she's like, I'm outside the address. And I'm like, no, you're not.
What,
And then
other side of town type of shit? Or-
it was somewhere in Auckland.
oh, what?
Yeah, so
Okay.
she'd got, so there was that. And then she was going to be down in Hamilton anyway
Yeah.
for a few other events. And then she got held up at another event. So
Yeah.
we had to postpone. So she'll probably come on again at some point. But
reschedule,
she's someone that, you know, probably doesn't get the platform to talk for however
hell
long
no.
she needs
Hell no.
to.
Yeah, I'm all about that. Like an hour plus, hour and a half.
Yeah. But then I also,
like it.
obviously, I include timestamps with all my videos because,
Yeah, that's good. Like,
because
more podcasts need to do that.
yeah, it's amazing to me that
Yeah,
so many people don't do it.
Yeah, it's
I met this lady at a business expo.
Yeah.
And I asked her if she wants to come on my podcast. She's like, who's your demographic? And I go, everyone. She's like, you can't have everyone. And it was like really condescending. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she was asking me how many subscribers I have, how many views I get and stuff. And then I showed her a video. And then I showed her times because apparently she'd started her own podcast and she was getting jack all views.
Yeah.
Something. And then I showed her the timestamps. Like I explained to her the timestamps concept. I like totally blew her mind. It's like I dropped like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
She was like, oh my God. You know, and suddenly
bizarre.
her whole demeanor towards me changed.
It's just...
And I'm just
That's
like,
weird.
what?
It's weird as fuck.
Yeah. It's just like, what, you know? Don't assume things.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
assume things because you don't know. You
There
know?
are people that... I mean, yeah, all the analytics behind a video, yes, but also it's just about putting that content out there and it existing. So, like,
Yeah, because
I'm not going to lie, like, this podcast here, I wasn't here episode 1, day 1. Like, I started listening maybe about
How did you find it?
A month ago. I want to say it's when Hugh's episode popped up. So Unchained XL.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
through him. Like,
Yeah.
he might have posted it, went through it, then obviously just clicked through to your channels. Obviously saw roughly what, like 18? No, what number was he?
11, maybe?
Something like that.
11?
But
12?
you had like close to 20 up, and then I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
That's my lunchtime sorted.
Yeah.
Like podcast for like a couple of weeks, and then just binged them. So yeah,
But
that's
then,
how I found out.
But then see, right. So because of the diverse nature of the podcast,
Yeah.
what resonates with one person might not resonate with another, right? So
100%.
someone who completely hates politics is not interested in politics at all.
Yeah,
They probably
I
don't
can
want to
listen.
listen to political episodes, you know?
Yeah.
And if they, or say with Unchained, right, they might be just interested, because we covered a lot of stuff, including MMA and colonialism and stuff. I mean, it
Yeah.
got really deep towards
Yeah,
the
yeah.
end, but they might just be interested in that stuff. They don't want to hear all the music stuff and all the intricate details about music and stuff.
clicking
So
through the timestamps, yeah.
so yeah, that's why you have timestamps. I think the main thing for me is just trying to get people to realize that there is timestamps, because it's still a foreign concept to a
Yeah.
lot of people. They're like, timestamps. What's timestamps?
You just have to check the description.
Yeah. Check the description or just look in the comments. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it depends. Anyway, we segued way off.
Yeah,
there.
we did.
So with Australia, how often do you go to Australia for?
I Oh, every quarter, twice maybe. So like this year I've been roughly 6 times. So that's per event though. So
do you go by yourself or do you go with an entourage? Do you have a whole people assisting you or nah?
So generally how it works is like they'll fly me out from Auckland and then I'll arrive in Melbourne or Sydney. Those are the 2 major cities in Australia that host events.
Yep.
It's mainly Melbourne. So I'll arrive there and then I'll just meet up with management of the team and then we'll go through what needs to be shot, chat away to players, and then just from Friday to Sunday is when the tournament plays out and just shoot the content that needs to be shot in and around the tournament.
Would you ever consider moving to Australia if the opportunity arose?
Honestly, the only thing would be moving me to Australia would be
the accent. Oh, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, dude. I'm sorry to any
Aussies.
sort of Australian viewers, but I just don't like the country.
In terms of what?
Just it's like I don't know. It's just hot. Just
political base, or is it? Oh, so just the weather.
Weather's probably the big number one factor. But yeah, if you want to get like technical, moving over there, you just can't really do much as a New Zealander moving over there.
In terms of what do you mean?
Well,
like in terms of, well, I know with with Kiwis when they move, they don't have the same rights as Aussies the way Aussies do here. So you don't. You can't get the benefit. You can't have health benefits.
Which I mean, I personally wouldn't expect that straight off the bat. But then I've heard stories of like the process of trying to.
It's a mission, which is part of the reason why I haven't moved. I mean, my partner, she's lived in Sydney for 5 years. Yeah, I mean, she loves Australia.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, theoretically, yes, I could move there, but then I'd be like, what do I do? And then I think I've adapted to a way of life that I'd find difficult getting out of now.
Oh yeah, I think I'm the same. Yep. Like right now, the only I was going to mention quickly is the only reason if I moved over to Australia would be as if this esports content thing was a full-time thing.
Yeah. Well, let's be real, right? I mean, there's way more opportunities in Australia than New Zealand.
Oh yeah, just based on population.
Yeah. Totally, right. But then you just got to weigh up what the pros and cons are, what the cost is, and what you value most.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I personally don't like the country. Number of reasons, just don't like it.
You better explain why, otherwise people might get mad.
Well, it's just
so the weather is one.
Weather's one. Moving over there and then trying to make that transition into like
so the process of actually moving. I guess. Yeah.
And on top of that, actually physically moving. Who likes moving, right? Especially,
do you have any family or friends or anything over there?
My 2 older brothers live in Sydney.
Okay, well at least that's a support structure somewhat.
Yeah, I mean makes things better. But out of the 2, Melbourne and Sydney, definitely go in Melbourne. I just don't like Sydney. Too fast paced, just like real fast paced. Just people are in your face, just like I
was on the Sydney trains during peak hour.
Yeah,
and because this all comes down to perspective, right? Because I've been to London.
Oh, yeah.
London is infinitely worse than Sydney during peak hour. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. And I've been to India as well. So Sydney peak hour, I was like, okay, this is actually annoying, but it's not as annoying. If I had not been to India and had not been to England, then I probably would have been like, how would this?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
so you'd only do it if there's so you'd only do it if there's a full-time opportunity.
Yeah, pretty much.
Would you ever move out of Auckland? Well, no.
Yeah, I've
Wellington.
I like Wellington.
Oh, I love Wellington.
Yeah, Wellington's a shit.
Yeah, just don't like the wind. But besides from that, it's all
it can
good.
get pretty crazy.
And earthquakes.
I'd move to Wellington. I only actually just moved back up to Auckland
because we were
about a month ago. Tauranga. So that's where my olds are based.
Dude, Tauranga is going to become Auckland 2.0, bro. Like in terms of
already is.
House prices, congestion.
You
just see it happening already.
The thing is, like, because way back when I was studying at Mains, so I was obviously up in Auckland to do that study, and then I stayed a couple of years after. I think I was there for a total of roughly 7 to 8 years before I moved back.
Yeah.
And then when I moved back in the last 3-ish years, there's 5 o'clock traffic in Tauranga now. Yeah. Like that never used to be a thing. Like I just jet out at 5, get across the bridge with ease.
Well, I've heard it's one of the most car reliable cities in New Zealand. I think 97% of the population, from what I remember, say that it's rely on cars to get around. I mean, there's not really a good public transport system.
Nah,
there's not
it's
one
just-
here either. Hamilton's pretty
it's
crap.
just the bus on kind of like a whatever schedule.
But
they
then,
run.
but then, if you notice with Auckland and Tauranga, the cities are just not designed well. Like whoever designed the city, it's just not designed. It's not designed
I think,
to be people friendly.
yeah.
I mean, both of them are geographically challenged because they have two harbors. I mean, Auckland in particular, has a harbor on either side, so
Yeah.
you're very limited in where you can build and how you build your
Yeah.
infrastructure.
yeah.
Which is why, I mean, Wellington, for example, it's very easy to get around. I mean, the hills are, a bitch, but
Yeah.
and the ridiculously small streets. Not
Yeah.
sure, but in terms of getting around, it's not as difficult.
Well, the weird thing is, like, I think in Tauranga there are people that drive too much. Like where I was, obviously it's based
Is there
on
many?
where
I
you
can't
are.
remember. Is there
but,
many cycleways and stuff in Tauranga?
I mean, there's just the.
So
I don't think so. No.
okay. So did you move? Did you move back to Auckland primarily for work?
Work, just work.
Yeah, I think that's the main reason why people move to Auckland.
And saying that, I'm based in Drury, rural
That's
place.
like outskirts.
Yeah, so like to get
How close is Drury to Pukekohe?
like 10-minute drive.
Yeah.
10-minute drive across.
because they're wanting to turn Pukekohe into a kind of.
Oh, that whole area. Like, yeah, I'm rural now, but
It
in
won't
5
be-
years,
yeah, it
nah,
won't be
that's
rural,
just going to
yeah,
be residential up the arse
Yeah,
type
yeah.
of thing. But yeah, I kind of only ever wanted to exist in Auckland in that format, kind of rural address, but still, drivable to the motorway, to the local shops.
How long does it take you to get to work though?
Oh, so I work remote. Which is
bro,
like
that's
the best
amazing.
situation,
That's
right?
the way to do it.
But every now and then,
That's
obviously,
the way to do it.
obviously, every now and then I got to drive in. For
Oh
like
yeah, but
X
that's
meeting or
not
whatever.
that's not too bad if you have to do it
Yeah.
now and then.
Half an hour.
Yeah.
Takes
but,
half an hour.
But if you're doing that every day,
Oh, dude, what you're wasting?
well, when I lived in Auckland, I
you're
worked
wasting
out.
hours.
Yeah, because I lived in West Auckland and I commute to the CBD, and I worked out that I spent 3 hours a day in traffic.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
And that, I think it
Crazy,
equated
though.
to 36 days a year.
That you're just
That
in a car.
Yeah,
traveling.
that'd be in a car.
See?
And I'm like, that's time you never get back,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But then when I moved down here, I gained an extra 3 hours in time to the point that I was
Like, what
bored.
the hell do you do?
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
oh crap, I had all this spare time, so I had to find stuff to do,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But
it's
now,
pretty
because
crazy.
I've adapted to a lifestyle where I don't have to contend with traffic. I mean, Hamilton traffic is, yes, there is traffic, but it's pretty mild compared to, say,
Yeah.
Auckland or Tauranga.
Yeah.
But now, because I think I left Auckland 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And the traffic is so much worse. Like it's
yeah.
it's way worse than
Yeah, it's pretty
than it
crazy.
was before I left.
Yeah. I was
And I it annoys me that much more now. Like I don't have the patience for traffic because
Yeah.
I don't have to contend with it anymore. I don't have
Yeah,
to deal
for
with
sure.
it. It's not
yeah. It's
not a part of my daily life.
Yeah. It just puts you at that level, right? Like you're not angry, but you feel like you have to rush. I don't know, me personally when I'm starting to ramp up into traffic, all that type of shit.
And the worst bottleneck is in South Auckland, which obviously you'll be
Yeah.
going through, that
Yeah,
I
there's
go
two.
through, you know?
Yeah, there's two large spots that
Yeah.
just don't want to move. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So
remote-
when you're going to these esports competitions, most of them will be in Auckland. If it's New Zealand
So,
based.
so the way Standing Fierce, which is the New Zealand fighting game community, kind of operate, and I do a lot of work in and around. I think a majority, so like 2 or 3 events, based in Auckland, but then they make effort to go to Wellington, Christchurch, and then I think next year they're going to hit up Dunedin just to serve like all the communities
That's cool.
from top to bottom. So yeah, just the main centers and
That's
then kind
cool
of any other
'cause
ones.
you could incorporate like your work into holidays. Really, like you
Yeah.
get to explore the country.
Yep.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah, it's I'm in a pretty cool position to be able to do that. So like if I can pitch a work idea around that event as well as on the side of that shoot the event for Standing Fierce, it's just win-win, right?
So do they always hire you for every single event now? Standing Fierce?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Just go through that and hook them up with whatever they
That's
need.
cool.
Yeah, no, they're pretty onto it.
Yeah.
If fighting
And you're
anything
not
fighting
that,
games,
and
go
you're
to
not
me.
that far from the airport too. So it's
Oh yeah, no, it works out. Totally works out.
Yeah. So you're in a good position. Whereas with Tauranga, Like if
It
you wanted,
would be that 2.5 hour drive, yeah.
because you'd have to drive to Auckland to fly
Yeah.
to Australia if you needed to go.
Yeah,
so
so
so it makes sense. You're in a prime position.
Yeah, when I was based out of Tauranga, it was get up at 4:30, make the trek. If I have to get at 9
Would you drive or catch a bus?
Just drive. Because if you book in advance one of the car parks at the airport, it's actually pretty cheap, like $36 to $40 for 4 days.
Yeah.
I reckon that's pretty cheap for Auckland. I don't know. I'm willing to pay. I don't know. Like anywhere else.
Well, I mean, I suppose yes.
What's
when
that
you
saying
use
if I
the
say
term
that's
for
cheap, right?
Auckland,
Yeah.
yes, it is cheap. But anyone who
it's
lives outside of
bullshit,
Auckland is like, that's not cheap. But
No,
but then there are some perks. There's certain shops that are only in Auckland.
yeah.
Like we just got Chemist Warehouse here recently. Finally.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Finally got it. Because it was only based in Auckland. They only just opened up one in Hamilton and Tauranga. They haven't even opened one in Wellington or Christchurch yet.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. I think they're expanding downwards. But like you guys will be getting IKEA, you'll get Costco. I mean, you've got shops like Zara,
Yeah, I know that.
I mean, not that that's like the greatest thing ever. But
Joe, I'm not going to lie. When IKEA drops, my whole house furniture steez is going to change.
a lot of people still don't know what IKEA is. They're like, what is it?
Best
Is that a
fucking thing out there,
food
man.
place? I'm like,
Well, I mean,
maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if our version will have the Swedish meatballs that they're kind of famous for, but
Well, we'll find out in time, I'm sure.
But that's all going out west. The Costco. popping
Yeah,
up
well,
out
that's where
west.
I'm from, man. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, why did I move? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's why I moved.
Yeah.
Because house prices are $1 million.
Oh, it's crazy, eh?
Yeah. So what's the plan in the long term?
Long-term plan, just keep doing, chucking away at the 9 to 5, but then on the outside, just making sure I'm getting gigs that, in esports and gaming.
Could you give me a
that'd be
VIP
beneficial.
pass or something to one of those events?
Yeah, definitely any of the ones I go to. Easy.
Yeah. Could you?
Easy.
Okay,
Yeah,
sweet.
easy.
Because I'd be keen to tag along to one, hey?
It's
I mean, you
kinda-
could do all your thing and I'll just chill. I went to, now and then I go to Armageddon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for people, religious people know that is not the end times.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a comic book video game type event.
Yeah,
okay.
pop culture
Yeah,
event.
because some people are like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's interesting when I've gone. It's always packed, eh? I entered one of those Dragon Ball Z Kamehameha contests one year. I think that this is the first year I went. So I'm partial nerd.
Yeah.
There's nerdy aspects of me, but I am in no way a nerd.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually understand how nerdy some people are.
Yeah.
So I went to this
You
Dragon
get
Ball
into
Z
it.
event because I think the winner won. I think it was a Nintendo DS or something. And I'll be like, oh, that'd be cool to win.
Yeah.
So I'll just practice doing a Kamehameha in
and
the
scream
mirror.
really loud.
But these, I went, man, and honestly, these people actually think they are Goku or something.
Yeah.
They just get fully immersed into it. And then like the final, because the voice actor of Goku was there to judge it.
Yeah.
And the final two that they picked,
They do the face-off.
they do the face off, and
Yeah.
they have to be like, no.
Yeah, one year I saw a guy in a full Goku cosplay and like no fucking around. It was insanely clean. For the finals, he just started yelling, screaming as you would doing a Kamehameha. But then he did a backflip. He just busted out a backflip just before he did it.
Oh, real?
And then the crowd just went ape shit.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
So he
he's
was
got
like
it.
the
He's got
instant winner.
it. The other guy would have
Yeah.
been like, bastard.
Yeah. So yeah, that's going.
I think it was me. I'd probably
few years
try and attempt to do it. Probably.
I'd definitely give
fuck
it to
up my
the guy
shoulder.
that cuts it. Yeah.
But yeah, man, they're on another level. Some of those dudes, they just
Yeah.
fully.
Just get really into it. Like, if you just realize, like some of those people that go to Armageddon, on their calendar throughout the year, that's the thing. That's like
Yeah, it's the thing
they
that
are looking forward to that every October.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Some of these cosplayers.
Because
that make costumes and stuff.
you've done videography at Armageddon.
Yeah. Because
It used to
Omen
be
HP.
here. They don't do it here anymore.
Yeah, I think they moved that one to Tauranga.
Yeah,
Like instead of it. So
more
done,
nerds there.
Yeah. Done a few things for the gaming stages in and around Armageddon.
Yeah. But do you prefer filming at Armageddon or Standing Fierce events?
Standing Fierce events, just because like I've kind of warmed up to them now. Like they know I'm the guy with the camera that comes in, and you know. So
do you have a bit of a name for yourself around this? That people know who you are?
Yeah,
are you a bit of a mini celebrity?
Oh fuck, far from it, eh? But yeah, through all the fighting game communities, both here and in Australia, yeah, they're probably going to know me either by name or as the guy with the camera at events.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just kind of spreading myself out amongst as many brands and teams as possible.
So is it just Australia and New Zealand you've filmed events, or have you done other parts of the country?
Darksided do a lot of the work, bulk of the work for them. All their players being number one in their respective games means they travel overseas to the US. We got a guy going to Sweden, I think, next week, yada, yada, yada. So this year, obviously having a 9 to 5, I've got to make it work some way. But this year, Darksided sent me to cover the guys that played in a tournament in Chicago. So got flown to Chicago.
How'd you find that?
Oh, it was fucking insane. Like the tournament.
In a good way?
Yeah. Yeah. So, there's just so much to it. Like the tournament that we went to, it's called Combo Breaker.
Yes, I've heard of that, yes.
It's the tournament, like, to put it the best way possible, it's the tournament like for fighting game players, as weird as that sounds. So they have a 24-hour venue. So there are people there Friday night, and they just play through to Sunday night on a setup, just playing as many people as possible. And it's put in like a golf resort. So obviously they have the main hall that has a huge stage, all the lights, and then all the main finals are played on that stage. And then throughout all the hallways in the small rooms in this resort are still people playing on setups that they bring in themselves and all that type of thing. So across an entire golf resort is just fighting game players for 72 hours straight.
70, there wouldn't be people that just play.
Oh, no, there will be 100%. Like
America, man, it's crazy. It's the country of extremes, man. They just go full on extreme with everything.
Yeah. So it was cool because that tournament was on essentially like my bucket list of tournaments. That was right at the top, and I was able to do it, create some content around the team that wanted it.
That's cool. If you get downtime, do you ever actually play any of the games there?
Oh,
are they ever like, I might, come jam with us?
Nah.
And you'll be like, nah.
Usually I'm filming like pretty much the entire time I'm there, because like a lot of with the content I create, it is a behind the scenes look of them at the tournament as well as them playing through it. So the stuff that kind of pops in a video is like, the kind of candid stuff, or if they take a hard loss, unfortunately I got to record how they kind of react to it.
Do some of them cry?
All that type of stuff. Nah.
Do they come close to crying? Do you try and make them cry?
I mean, I've thought about it. I'm like, oh, come on, man, cry.
I think that's in a troll with me. I'd be like, I kind of want to make you cry, but then I don't want to be an asshole.
Keep drilling at home, man.
Like, if you cry, I'll get more views.
None of them are that extreme, but some of them have taken obviously hard losses because they're flying. From Melbourne, from Sydney, that flight's like, it can be up towards like 24 hours worth of travel. With layovers and all that type of stuff. Yeah, well, it does a lot to your... Yeah, to get there and lose like that, it can be pretty tough. But I was able to do that, go to Chicago, checked out the city a bit.
So when you go, do you just go on your own?
Nah,
So with Chicago, did you go on your own? Or
I travelled by myself, travelled to Chicago by myself, but then you meet up with all the players and it's like into one accommodation.
Oh, right, okay.
Pretty much that type of thing. So.
Do you share a room?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. Okay, cool. So there's a bit of a camaraderie there.
Yeah. And
as opposed to you just riding solo.
Yeah, I think...
Because that would get old fast.
Oh, I definitely would. And a lot of the content produced, it's good because... It's I've had that experience with them. They're comfortable around the camera if I'm pointing at them. So you get more out of it, right? As opposed to, I know the content wouldn't go as far if it was like, oh shit, this guy's right in my face. Who the hell? Like, get the fuck out of my face type of thing, So that's kind of how it works with those guys specifically. But last weekend I actually shot at Sky City out of the LPL offices. Have you heard of them? Let's Play Live. So they're like a gaming.
I have heard of them.
They're based in the Sky Tower, like the actual Sky Tower. Their offices run around the base of it. So they
at the bottom or near the top.
No, at the bottom.
For a minute, I thought you were referring to the Orbit restaurant. I'm like, wait.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That'd be sick for video if we had the views.
Yeah.
But, I recently just shot a set of content there with a team that I'd never met. But kind of for me, I just kind of lucked out because they were very good in front of the camera, comfortable with it, cracking jokes. This and that. So
yeah, well, you need
get
people
that.
There's some people that
makes my job easier.
Yeah, if I have a person on here and they can't deal with being in front of a microphone or on cameras, and I don't necessarily know this beforehand. This is one of the things I've learned from doing this.
All that type of stuff. You do your research, right?
Yeah, well, I do my research, right? So there's some people I'm like, I'll be keen to have this person on, and then I actually look into them and I see them on camera. I'm like, nah, man. This guy's got the personality of a brick.
Yeah.
Like podcasting would not be good for them.
Yeah.
It won't actually help them in any way.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that are fine. They get here, they're all good. Turn the mics on, camera on, and then they just shut off.
Yeah.
They get all nervous and stuff. And I'm like, oh crap. And then I've got to try and ease them into it. There was one guest I had. I won't say who it is, but honestly, man, like one of the worst podcasts ever.
How do you ease them into it? Because like for video,
you have to make them completely forget that there are cameras here and that there's a microphone.
Laser focus.
Laser focus, sure and just let them know.
Yeah.
That hey, it's all good. I'm not some strict interviewer with it. Like if I was holding a piece of paper like this, right, and if my legs folded with a pen and stuff, and so when did you get into this? It's because you don't. It's not natural. You don't talk to people.
It's not at all.
Talk to people like that. So the main thing for me is to make them feel at ease as possible. So there's a guy I had on, Anonymous, right? He's like a hip hop guy, really well known in South Auckland, right? Yeah. And he was a bit nervous in the beginning.
Yeah.
But then he eased into it, right? He got into his groove and stuff because he'd actually never done a long form interview before. So that was like the first time doing it. And
that was a fucking good episode.
Yeah.
Like I kind of see parallels in what I want to do in the future with what he's done with his startup.
Oh, he's the man.
Like
bro.
He's done just crazy shit.
Yeah,
I looked into it all after. I listened to that.
Yeah,
just working with
because I'd known about him for ages.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when I reached out to him to come on, I didn't actually think he'd agree, but he did. Yeah. And to have music played in Fast and Furious and stuff, and I mean, shout out to the guy, man. Crazy, he's accomplished a lot. And I don't think, he's a bit of a hero in South Auckland, you know, in Otara and Mangere and stuff. But there's still a lot of people that don't know him. But yeah, like, and that's what I want, right? When I do an episode, I want it to help someone. Like, if it's inspired you, then it makes it all worth it, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, and I guess that's kind of what I take away from like anything that I consume in terms of media is like,
you got to be really careful about what you let yourself consume or let into you. In terms of the information, in terms of people, energy that you
100%.
seep into you.
I think...
Because I that's part of the problem I had with hip-hop before I was doing that, like before I was doing this, is you're around, and I know this is a bit of a stereotype, and not all rappers are like this, but there are a lot of rappers out there that don't have any ambition, right?
Oh, yeah.
They just want to sit around, get drunk, smoke weed, write a track. And... that's fine to do now and then if you want to do that. Yeah. But then when your whole life revolves around that and you're around these people all the time, you start to pick up their energy. Yeah. And then you can end up, you're not even aware that you've become a zombie and you're like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? I tend to be motivated by people who are successful or have ambition, right? 100%. And I'm trying to surround myself with more people like that. And the cool thing about podcasting is, I've got to meet some cool ass people.
Yeah, for sure.
And some of the people I've had on, man, they're really inspiring. And it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I've got to chase this thing. So that's good that you're like that, dude.
Yeah, I just
because you'll go a lot further than say.
Yeah, you do. Like you're not wasting time and energy.
Yeah.
Worrying about other stuff.
Do you have like a good circle though of people that like?
Yeah, no, I do.
Like they know what you're doing.
Yeah, so I'd say almost I'd like to say it's good and bad, but I'll explain both sides. But everyone, obviously, in esports and gaming, like right now in New Zealand, I am the guy, and I'm one of 5 in Australia doing what I do, like covering esports teams and spitting out content for them. So so there's
that's good when you're the guy.
Oh yeah, it is. It means you're keeping busy, this and that. But I guess kind of in Australia, I can interact with the 4 other people that are doing it and like bounce ideas and see what they don't like that I might think is all right, and kind of
and vice versa.
Do that. Yeah. But I'd say it's bad here locally if no one else is doing it. Competition, obviously. If someone's doing it better, they raise the bar. You bring it up here.
Yeah,
and you just get better and better and better and better.
Well,
right?
there's a pro and con to it, right?
Yeah, and
pro is you'll have a monopoly. You probably get more money that way. But the competition,
right.
The competition factor is what breeds creativity in a way, and the ambitious, the chase.
Yeah. And
I'm a competitive person, so if I see someone doing a podcast and it's better than mine, I'm like, you
just want to raise the bar.
There's a bit of pettiness to it. I'm like, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna be better than him.
Yeah.
Or like, I mean, there's some podcasts that are have way more views than me, and I'm like, nah, man, I can do it way better.
Yeah, but do they have the widespread of guests?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? If you're focusing on one target audience, then there's the pro aspect is you probably have a lot more of a loyal audience who consume it.
True.
Yeah. Day in, day out. But
there's no like set, this is how shit should be done.
No.
But then any creative field as well.
Yeah, but I mean, some people have they really obviously believe in what I do. I mean, if people didn't think or believe what I do, then I probably wouldn't be able to get anyone on here. And with that being said, like if you went on here, if I didn't get the guests on here, I'd be talking to myself for an hour, which is lame.
There are some podcasts out there that are just
they
one,
do. And they're very, very good at it.
Yeah,
but I know what I'm good at, and I know what I'm not good at.
Yeah.
And I would feel too weird talking to myself for an hour.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I don't know how they do it.
I'm an extrovert. Like I like meeting new people.
Yeah.
And I feed off the energy of the person, right? So if with you being here, for example, right, I'm able to bounce back and absorb your energy and give you mine, sort of thing. So it's good banter. Yeah. And you're consuming knowledge from the person, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I know a little bit about esports and the fighting community and stuff, but obviously you know way more.
Yeah.
You're more of an expert than I am, and just having you on, I've already learned a lot. So
yeah. And I mean, like for me, like obviously listening to the entire back catalogue of this podcast, like, I'm now thinking in a space that ex-politicians start talking about this, and that, and like then you start to think about it in like your local sense, like how do you get amongst, like with is it Tracer, the one else?
Oh, battle rap dude, yeah.
Like I've like way back when, like I can't remember what years, like I was into that heavy
battle rap.
Yeah, so like King of the Dot, Don't Flop, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I can't even give you a year.
It's very niche here though, right?
Yeah, like obviously once you're into those types of brands, I was like, what's Australia got? And then obviously I think that back then they had Grind Time, Australia or there, and then obviously on a local level we had 1outs, which I think it's been 1outs the entire time, right?
Yeah, it has been 1outs the entire time.
Yeah, just looking into that and like just seeing the point of view from Tracer as a person in 1outs, it just gets me thinking like,
well, a lot of the 1outs community loved the fact that I had him on here, man.
Yeah, he was
because
fucking onto it.
Because those guys don't get much exposure.
No, they don't.
A lot of people don't even know what the hell battle rap is.
The thing is, like, being in the position I am with TVNZ, I've kind of like in my head exercised the possibility of maybe doing like a longer form something in and around that. Like in my head,
I know TVNZ like One News. They did a little piece on 1outs.
That's not.
But then I understand because that it's brutal and the brutal nature and all the cussing and stuff. It would be very hard to.
Well, that's the thing.
Have you been to one of the events?
No, I haven't.
You should come.
Now that I'm local.
Yeah.
Possibilities there. Right?
I'll let you know next time I go to, because I'll probably go to the next one.
Yeah.
I'll let you know, and maybe you can like tag along with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'll probably go with Tracer. So
yeah.
And then you can see one live, and then maybe because I know the dude who runs it, Dealer. So maybe you can, because you're a videographer and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe you can give him some tips or something, or maybe you can work out something, or I don't know. Maybe you can do some stuff for him. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. No, definitely could be a thing. But yeah, just seeing him talk about like how he works in and amongst that space, obviously I'm never going to be a battle rapper, but you can apply that work ethic and understanding to any creative outlet, right? Like, because
oh yeah, man, I think
that's how I operate. That's how I, get through a tough edit or whatever, and just spit out the content, make sure it's out there, keeping active.
Yeah, I think a lot of Kiwis are quite complacent though. They're too chill. Like, I mean, you've been to America. America has a very hard work ethic. I've been to India, and Indians work hard. Asians actually. Yeah. Not just India, like that Asian region. Like they work very, very hard, right? And because New Zealand's, we're in a very privileged position. Some people don't like us saying that. We're like, oh no, there's heaps of problems here. I'm like, you go around the world, you'll see that we are very, very lucky here. Yeah, definitely. Very lucky here. And, and it should be motivating us to work harder.
100%. Totally agree. Like,
I think there's the flip side where I think Indians and Chinese and stuff, they work so relentlessly and so hard that what's it all for? They just go so far with it. They neglect their families. Some of them. I'm not saying all do this, but to the point where what's it all worth if you don't even get any downtime or to chill or just take in what's around you. Yeah. Where New Zealanders or Kiwis are very good at doing. Yeah. We know how to relax. Go out kayaking or go to the beach or just embracing nature. Whereas some cultures are just like, nah, it's all work, work, work. So I think if you can get that balance. I think that's the key point. Yeah,
I think I picked up, just to put it straight, I think I am a workaholic.
Oh, I'm the same, dude.
It's my partner that has to be like, yo, you might want to chill because you're going to burn out, or actually take some time to just chill, right? Like, that's always good. But I think I picked up just that constant, at least do something every single day of the week straight in terms of work, whether it's just like an hour, or like a block of 3 or 4
I find
hours.
if I don't do anything for a day, I actually get
it's weird,
depressed. Right? Yeah, and then I actually hate myself because I'm like, fuck, I just wasted a day.
Yeah, exactly. I think I picked that up.
You never promised tomorrow, sort of thing. So
yeah, totally. I picked that up from my mate that I worked through a number of projects during uni with. Yeah, and he's from Indonesia, and he was just telling me like essentially what you were saying just before, like. Well, back home, he was from like a decent-ish family, but it's like total contrast from rich to poor slums in Singapore, where he is from. Like, you can
of Asia.
You can just look down the street and it's like rich houses over here and then just slums on the other side.
That's exactly what I saw in India.
He took exactly that and he like came over here. That dude is the hardest worker I've ever met in my life. Like, if you just hit him up, no bullshit, like, okay, this is just a random story. One night I was just gaming and it was like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., got off the computer, and then I just randomly messaged him to see if he was awake doing something. Yeah. And at like 2:33, he's like, yo, what up? Expecting he'd reply at like 7 a.m. when he wakes up. He's like, yo, straight away. I was like, what? What are you up to? And he's like, oh, editing photos. And it's just constant with him, eh? And I get that work, like that scheduling from him is like, he'll always get up at like 6:37, no matter what. Like, if
I'm
he goes to bed at 5,
my
he's
body's
still getting up at that time.
like that. Like, if I go to bed at, 1 a.m., my body is still programmed to get up at 6:30, which is actually really bad because sometimes I need to sleep in, but I don't. So I just try to avoid having late nights. But I know also if I sleep in past 7 or 8, I actually can't sleep in, even if I want to, because my mind is just like, no, you're wasting time.
I think like everyone like, I feel like that's going to be the case somewhat with everyone you're going to get on here. Like, that's doing music, that's...
Well, they're motivated in their
doing his thing and all that.
Particular space. There's some people that are more motivated than others. It depends on what their craft is. I mean, with battle rap, for example, Trey's
it's a 24/7 type of thing.
Well, right? He said that he takes 2 months to prep, right? So he spends a month writing his rhymes and then spends a month memorizing it. Yeah. Which is a lot. Yeah. So, It's I have a lot of respect for those guys for what they do. I want to jump in the ring at some point, but
you've said that over a number of episodes.
Yeah. I do want to jump in the ring, but I just had the by the time this airs, the episode will be out. But I had the battle rap champion on.
Who's that?
Alenzo. He just won the title from Tracer recently, right? Yeah. And he was saying that because we got into a chat about it, and he was asked, why haven't you entered? And I explained my reasons. I'm just like, look, dude, I don't want to jump in unless I can give it my 100%, which I know currently I cannot do. Yeah. And otherwise, I'm like, if you don't prepare, you get absolutely murdered, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely murdered. So you don't want to do it unless you can do it right. And then because, Dealer, the guy who runs it, he spends a lot of time, money, and effort organizing those events.
I'm waiting for that episode, man.
Yeah. So
it's going to be good.
So he, when he's doing that, everybody has to do their part.
Yeah.
And, if somebody chokes or they're not prepared and stuff, it affects the entire event, So I would only want to do it if I do it right. But
100%.
Yeah. But anyways, I might wrap up there, bro. But where's the best way for people to contact you in regards to all your social media and your website and stuff?
Yeah. My website is williamslingsby.com. That just houses all my, portfolio, body of work.
It's a good website, by the way.
And then on Twitter, I'm SlyWill, SLI Will, and on Instagram, same name.
Same name.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, if anyone's out there that wants to get a video done, I can do
Yeah. He can do everything.
Anything.
Film, music video.
Yeah.
Adverts.
Yeah, just anything.
Pretty much anything. If you need video for anything, yeah. And if you're having problems, hit me up and I'll give you his details if need be. But it's all on the website.
Yeah.
There's like a contact page.
Pretty sure there.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it doesn't even know. No, I think there is. Yeah, just contact tab. And then.
Did you make the website? Or did you hire someone to make it?
No, I just did it through Squarespace.
Okay.
Multi-talented
guy.
Yeah. Oh, it's dummy proof, right? It's one of those template ones, and then you kind of modify it from there. But,
do you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I made websites back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, sure, I would never want
back
to do
in
that,
HTML and yeah. And I've completely forgotten how to do it now. So if I was to make a website now, which I am thinking of probably doing at some point.
Yeah.
What is it?
Squarespace.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look into that.
Sweet.
Cool. All right. Well, that's the show, guys. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And until next time, stay safe. See you.
Sweet.